And I wonder how they're going to explain what you did when that unethical man, that terrible man, that man that was putting people in cages, dividing our country, extorting our allies. Please tell me what you did to stand up to that man.
What this is really all about, and you know it, they hate the guy, but more importantly, they have bought into a bunch of lies. It was the Obama administration that built cages to put the children of people seeking asylum in when they came in illegally.
Okay, new debate tonight over what's really driving Democrats' impeachment efforts against President Trump. Let's bring in Democratic strategist Kevin Walling and editorial director of the Daily Caller, Vince Coglianese. Gentlemen, good to have you back with us tonight.
Thank you. Shannon, good to see you.
Okay, so Vince, they say the president has left them no option. He's pushed all the boundaries, and they are acting in the interest of preserving the Constitution.
Yeah, they've been saying that a lot for the entire Trump presidency. It feels like this was always inevitably headed in this direction, not least of all because Democrats and certainly the people who advance their interests in the press have been jonesing for impeachment from the moment Donald Trump was elected into office. And we've got, there's a weird feeling around this impeachment that it doesn't feel exceptional. And I don't know if Democrats feel like this too, but I just think broadly, this feels like the same exact level of hysteria that we've experienced for every single minute of the Trump presidency. And I think that's why voters are kind of tired of it and not moving any closer to Democrats in this process.
Well, and Kevin, we've seen polls that show that people are confused. Like, they've got scandal fatigue. They don't even understand the difference between Mueller, Russia, Ukraine. Like, they really are kind of fatigued, and maybe it's a little bit too much crying wolf for them to actually get emotionally bought in and support this.
Yeah, there's certainly been a lot of scandal with this last 2.5 years that we've seen.
Or allegations of scandal.
Or allegations of scandal. And I think, to Vince's point, the American people are exhausted. They've tuned out. They've tuned out of the Democratic debates. They're exhausted, I think, when the president tweets. And I think there is a level of exhaustion when it comes to our politics. They don't understand why the government isn't necessarily going to be funded next Saturday, why we can't get passage of the trade deal before January 1st. But I think, as Democrats have said, as the Speaker have said, they are reluctant to do this. This might not be a good thing for Democrats if they go down this impeachment road, but they believe this president has given them no choice when it comes to the Constitution.
How does this change, Vince, when we get to the Senate?
That's a great question, and thank you for asking it. I think the key is really whether or not the White House wins the fight of having the long drawn-out impeachment where they bring in people like Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and sort of can color in the lines on explaining why the president thinks it's a completely legitimate question to ask about corruption in Ukraine, especially related to the Bidens, or whether or not Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham win out, because it seems right now that leadership among Republicans in the Senate wants this to be over quickly. Just they think this all is nonsense, and let's just get this done and over with.
Well, and we talked to Trey Gowdy last night, obviously the former chair of Oversight Committee over the House. I mean, a long-established prosecutor. And he talked about the fact that, listen, if you think you know what the vote's going to be, you don't waste a lot of time on the arguments because you don't want to lose the case. And it sounds like that's what the leadership wants to do in the Senate. Like, let's just get it done, get it voted, move on.
Yeah, and I don't even think there's a willingness on Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham's part to even call Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. They want to move, like as Vince said, very quickly down this path. And, you know, the president is really pushing for a longer impeachment hearing, which I don't think is going to be a winning strategy for this president. I don't think he wants Adam Schiff testifying as one of the leaders.
Oh, I don't know.
Bringing the, I don't think he wants
I think the president
Adam Schiff
might
to make
want
that case, though. I think Chairman Schiff has been pretty effective compared to Chairman Nadler, I think, intelligence to judiciary, making the case to the American people.
Well, I think what he wants to ask him about is potential conflicts with the, or contacts with the whistleblower.
Of course.
I think that's the question President Trump wants.
Because Adam Schiff, explicitly lied about his relationship with the whistleblower during this process. So that instantly made him a fact witness, because there's no reason to be deceptive if you're trying to be the sober fact finder. And that's not what happened. Adam Schiff was deceptive in this process.
There's no indication he ever met with or knew the whistleblower. And I take him at his word that he doesn't.
Well, the Washington Post doesn't, because they gave him 4 Pinocchios. That's the highest one, I think, right?
Yeah, that's a big deal for
Okay, let me ask you about this other scandal going on with the president. He's tweeting at Greta Thunberg. I don't want to get the name wrong, but we're Thunberg, I'm told. Thank you,
Greta
Christopher.
Thunberg.
About being named Times Person of the Year. He tweeted this: so ridiculous. Greta must work on her anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend. Chill, Greta, chill. Then this is what a female reporter had to say about it yesterday.
Congressman, this is a president who just yesterday called a teenager on the autism spectrum a person with an anger management problem. Does that make it harder to defend him this vigorously?
And I would tell you who the reporter was if I could see and know. But a statement from the press secretary today saying basically that the First Lady is going to continue with her Be Best initiative, that these are separate adults, spouses don't always speak for each other, and it's time to move forward.
Yeah, this is invoking autism or anything. This is just manufacturing a scandal, because the reality is, specifically Greta Thunberg, who has made herself a public figure in this process as a climate scold for one, has said of herself that she is angry. She's used that very phrase. I think the president ribbing her is a much lower offense than the many adults in Washington and around the world who've chosen to turn this girl into a hero and to worship her for the activities that she's doing.
Quick final word from you, Kevin. And I did think it was, smart of her to make it her her Twitter description now. Basically, I'm an anchor working on my anger management.
She clapped back so beautifully with this president, playing on his insecurities. I think it was a wonderful thing what she did on Twitter, handing it right back to him in his face.
He likes to pick a fight.
Sure does.
And he likes to punch back. Okay, so thank you both. Have a great weekend.
Thank you,
Thanks, Shannon. Have a good weekend.
Christmas.
All right, breaking tonight. Police confirming a second suspect is now in custody in the brutal stabbing death of an 18-year-old college